Article 11. Justifying circumstances. Anyone who acts in defense of this person or rights, provided that the following circumstances occur. First, unlawful aggression. Second, reasonable, necessarily, the means employed to repeat it. Third, lack of sufficient provocation the part of person defending himself. Anyone who acts in defense of the person or rights of this spouse, ascendants, or legitimate, natural or adopted brothers or sisters or relatives by affinity in the same degrees and those consanguinity circumstance are present and the further request in case the revocation was given the person attacked that the one making defense had no part. Number 3. Anyone who acts in defense of the person or rights of a stranger, provided that the first and second mentioned in the first circumstances this article are present and that the person defending be not included revenge, resentment, other evil motive. Any person who in order to avoid an evil or injury does not act which causes damage to another, provided that the following circumstances are present: that the evil sought to be avoided actually exists. Second, that the injury will be greater than done to avoid it. Third, that there be other practical and less harmful means of preventing it. Any person who acts in fulfillment of a duty or in the lawful exercise of a right of his. Any person who acts in obedience to an issues by superior for some lawful purpose. Circumstances which exempt from criminal liability. The following are exempt from criminal liability: an imbecile, on insane unless the latter has acted during a lucid interval. A person under 9 years of age, a person over 9 years of age, and under 15 unless he acted with discernment, in which case such minor shall be produced against with the provision of Art 80 of this code. Any person who while performing a lawful act with due care causes an injury by more accident without fault or intention of causing it. Any person who acts under the compulsion of immiscible force. Any person who walks under the impulses of uncontrollable fear of one equal or greater injury. Any person who fails to perform an act required by law when prevented by some lawful mitigating circumstances. Those mentioned in the preceding chapter, when, although requires necessary to justify or to exempt from criminal liability in the respective case, are not attendant, that the offender is under 18 years of age or over 70 years. In the case of the minor, it should be proceed against accordance, accordance, provision of Article 80, that the offender had no intention to commit grave wrong as committed, that the sufficient provocation, threat, the part of the offended party immediately preceded the act, that the act was committed in the immediate vindication of a grave offense to the committing the felony, his spouse, ascendants, relatives, by affinity with within same same degrees, that the offender had voluntarily surrendered himself to a person in authority or his agents, that the had voluntarily confessed his guilt before court prior to presentation of the evidence, the prosecution. The offender is deaf and dumb, blind, or otherwise suffering some physical defect which the characteristics means of defense, or communication his fellow beings. Such illness, the offender has would diminish exercise of the willpower of the offender without, however, depriving the consciousness of his acts. Finally, any other circumstances of a similar nature analogous to those above mentioned, aggraving circumstances that advantage be taken by the offender of this public position, that the crime be committed in contempt or with insult, that the crime be committed in the place chief executive on its presence, or where public authorities are engaged in the discharge their duties. or in a place dedicated to religious worship, that the crime be committed in the night, uninhabited place by a ban whenever circumstances may facilitate commission the offense, whenever more than three armed malefactors should have acted in the commission of an offense. It should be have been committed by a band, that the crime be committed on the occasion of a conflagration, shipwreck, earthquake, epidemic, or other calamity, misfortune, that the crime be committed with the aid, armed men, or person who ensure afford this or receive this is one who at the time of his trial for one crime should have been previously convicted by final judgment of another crime embraced in the same title of code, that the offender has been previously punished by an offense to which the law attaches an equal or greater penalty, or two or more crimes which it attaches lighter penalty, that the crime committed in consideration of a prize reward promise, that the act be committed with evidence premeditation, the craft, fraud, or disguise employed, the advantage be taken of strength superior means by employed the defense, that the act be committed with treachery, that means be employed or circumstance brought which add ignominy, that the natural effects the act, that the crime committed after unlawful entry. There is unlawful entry when entrance affected by way not intended the purpose, that as a means to commission of a crime, a wall, roof, door, window broken, be broken, that the crime be committed with the aid of person under 15 years of age, by means of motor vehicles, airships, or other similar means, that the wrong done in the commission of the crime be deliberately by causing other wrong not necessary for commission. Their concept, alternative circumstances, those which must taken consideration as aggraving, mitigating, according of the nature and effects of the crime of the other condition offending its commission. The alternative circumstances of relationship shall be taken into consideration when offended party, the purpose, ascendant, descendant, legitimate, natural, adopted, sister or brother, or relative by affinity in the degrees the offender. The execution offender should be taken into consideration as a circumstances when the offender has committed a felony in a state of intoxication if the same is not habitual. Subsequent plan to commit said felony but when the intoxication is habitual, international shall be considered as an circumstance